The year 2137 marked humanity's boldest stride into the cosmos, driven by a thirst for discovery and the inexorable push of overpopulation on Earth. The exploration vessel USS Pioneers, a marvel of human engineering and determination, pierced the veil of uncharted space, its crew eager to etch their names into the annals of history. Their destination was Viridian III, a lush, Earth-like planet located in the Goldilocks zone of a distant star system, promising for colonization and rich in resources. As the Pioneers descended through the turquoise mists of Viridian III's atmosphere, the crew's excitement was palpable. The planet was a tapestry of vibrant jungles, sprawling oceans, and towering mountain ranges. It was a new Eden, untouched and ripe with potential. However, this paradise was not without its serpents. The first sign of trouble came during an initial scouting mission. Lieutenant Maya Chen and her team were surveying a dense jungle region when they encountered the Draxus. Towering over even the tallest human, with sinewy limbs, razor-sharp claws, and a hide that seemed to deflect laser scans, the creature was the embodiment of primal terror. It moved with a terrifying grace, its eyes reflecting a predatory intelligence that chilled the blood. The encounter was brief but deadly. The Draxus attacked without warning, its ferocity unmatched. Half of Chen's team was lost in minutes, their technology and weapons proving futile against the creature's onslaught. The survivors retreated in disarray, barely making it back to the Pioneers with their lives and the harrowing tale of their encounter. The news of the attack sent shockwaves through the crew. Viridian III, their hope for humanity's future, was home to a predator the likes of which they had never seen. The Draxus were apex predators, reigning supreme in their ecosystem, unchallenged and formidable. Commander Alexei Volkov, captain of the Pioneers, faced a difficult decision. The potential of Viridian III was immense, but so was the threat posed by the Draxus. Yet retreating was not an option. Earth needed what Viridian III could provide. In a stirring speech to his crew, Volkov declared their mission would continue. They would study, understand, and, if necessary, confront the Draxus. Humanity's survival instinct, its adaptability, and its relentless pursuit of progress had overcome countless challenges throughout history. Viridian III would not be the end of that legacy. In the weeks that followed, the crew of the Pioneers worked tirelessly. They fortified their landing zone, deploying defensive perimeters and drones to patrol the surrounding areas. Scientists and biologists, led by Dr. Lena Singh, began to analyze every piece of data they could gather on the Draxus, looking for weaknesses, patterns, anything that could give them an edge. But the Draxus were cunning adversaries. Attacks on the perimeter became more frequent and coordinated, as if the creatures were probing for weaknesses. Each encounter provided valuable data, but at a cost. The toll on the crew was not just physical, but psychological. The constant threat of attack, the losses suffered, the alien environment, all combined to create an atmosphere of siege. As the chapter closes, the crew of the Pioneers stand on the brink. Viridian III offers a promise of salvation for humanity, but it is a promise guarded by shadows and fangs. The Draxus, masters of their world, have made one thing clear. This paradise will not be surrendered without a fight. The stage is set for a conflict that will test the very limits of human courage, ingenuity, and the will to survive. In the aftermath of the initial Draxus attacks, the crew of the USS Pioneers found themselves caught in a grim reality. Viridian III, a beacon of hope in the endless dark of space, had quickly become a nightmarish battleground. The Draxus, embodying the apex of predatory evolution, had marked the humans as their new prey. The humans, for all their technological advancements and interstellar ambitions, were unprepared for the ferocity and cunning of their new adversaries. Commander Alexei Volkov, grappling with the weight of command and the safety of his crew, ordered an immediate reassessment of their mission priorities. Defensive measures were strengthened, and the crew's morale bolstered by the promise of Earth's support. However, deep within, Volkov harbored doubts. The vast distance between them and Earth meant any help would arrive too late for those facing the immediate threat of the Draxus. The Draxus attacks grew in both frequency and intensity, each assault a testament to their intelligence and adaptability. It became clear that these creatures were not mere animals acting on instinct, but highly intelligent beings capable of strategy and tactics. They seemed to understand the layout of the human defenses, identifying weak points and exploiting them with merciless efficiency. Dr. Lena Singh, leading the scientific efforts to understand the Draxus, made a chilling discovery. The creatures appeared to be learning from each encounter with the humans, adapting their strategies in response to the humans' defensive tactics. It was a level of cognitive ability that no one had anticipated, placing the Draxus far beyond what the term predator traditionally encompassed. Lieutenant Maya Chen, having survived the first encounter with the Draxus, became obsessed with finding a way to fight back. She pored over the data from each attack, searching for any pattern or weakness that could be exploited. Chen's determination became a beacon of hope for the crew, a reminder that humanity had not survived millennia by succumbing to fear. Amidst this struggle for survival, a deeper bond formed among the crew of the Pioneers. They were no longer just explorers and scientists, but soldiers in a war for their very existence. The ship, once a vessel of discovery, had become a fortress, a solitary beacon of human resilience on a hostile world. The turning point came when a scouting drone, operating in a dense forest region far from the main camp, transmitted images of what appeared to be a Draxus nesting ground. The footage showed young Draxus, smaller but no less formidable, and hinted at a possible vulnerability. If the humans could strike at the heart of the Draxus population, they might have a chance to tip the scales in their favor. Armed with this new information, Commander Volkov and Lieutenant Chen began planning a risky offensive operation. It was a desperate gambit, one that carried the risk of provoking an even greater backlash from the Draxus. But with their options dwindling and the situation growing more dire by the day, it was a risk they were willing to take. As preparations for the mission got underway, the crew of the Pioneers understood the gravity of their task. They were no longer just fighting for their survival, but taking the first steps towards reclaiming their future on Viridian 3. The hunters had become the hunted, but now the prey was ready to fight back. The atmosphere aboard the USS Pioneers was electric with a mix of apprehension and resolve as preparations for the offensive against the Draxus nesting ground went into full swing. Commander Alexei Volkov and Lieutenant Maya Chen spearheaded the operation. Their strategy hinged on a daring nighttime assault to exploit the element of surprise. The crew's morale, bolstered by this proactive stance, contrasted sharply with the pervasive dread that had shadowed them since their arrival on Viridian 3. In the ship's hangar, engineers and technicians worked tirelessly, modifying drones and armaments to suit the dense jungle terrain of the Draxus habitat. Dr. Lena Singh and her scientific team contributed by devising a chemical marker that could be sprayed from the air, highlighting Draxus individuals in infrared, overcoming their natural camouflage that had made them nearly invisible to sensors. The plan was meticulous. A small, heavily armed ground team would infiltrate the nesting area to plant explosives, aiming to cause maximum disruption without endangering the juvenile Draxus directly. Above, a squadron of drones would provide surveillance and cover, guided by the keen eyes of the Pioneers' pilots from a makeshift command center on the ship. Despite the careful planning, the tension was palpable. Every crew member knew the stakes. Success could provide them with the breathing room needed to establish a more permanent foothold on Viridian 3. Failure, on the other hand, would not only cost lives, but might also provoke a retaliation from the Draxus that could overwhelm their defenses. As night enveloped Viridian 3, the assault team made their approach. The dense jungle, alive with the sounds of alien nocturnal creatures, seemed to close in around them. Every step was taken with caution, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. Unexpectedly, the team encountered a group of Draxus scouts. A brief, fierce skirmish erupted. The humans' weapons, enhanced with the latest targeting systems, proved effective, but the encounter served as a grim reminder of the dangers they faced. The element of surprise was partially compromised, and the team accelerated their pace, moving deeper into the heart of darkness. Back on the Pioneers, Volkov monitored the operation with bated breath, aware that the outcome of this mission could determine the future of humanity on Viridian 3. The screens in the makeshift command center flickered with infrared images, the chemical markers revealing the hidden presence of Draxus moving to intercept the assault team. In the tense hours that followed, the team reached their objective. The nesting ground was a vast, open clearing surrounded by thick vegetation. It was eerily quiet, the air thick with anticipation. With precision, the explosives were planted, and the retreat began, just as the first signs of dawn crept across the alien sky. The explosion, when it came, was a shockwave of sound and light that tore through the morning calm. From a safe distance, the team watched as flames and smoke rose into the sky, the signal of their defiance against the apex predators of Viridian 3. However, the true impact of their actions would only become apparent with time. As they made their way back to the Pioneers, navigating the treacherous jungle with the weight of their deed heavy on their hearts, they knew they had crossed a threshold. The Draxus, once the unchallenged masters of this world, had been challenged. The storm, long gathering on the horizon, had finally broken, heralding the onset of a new chapter in the struggle for Viridian 3. The explosion at the Draxus nesting ground sent shockwaves through the dense jungles of Viridian 3, both literal and metaphorical. The humans aboard the USS Pioneers had struck a significant blow, demonstrating their refusal to be prey on this alien world. However, the victory was short-lived, as the repercussions of their actions began to unfold in ways they hadn't fully anticipated. In the days following the assault, an eerie silence settled over the area surrounding the human encampment. The usual skirmishes and probing attacks by the Draxus ceased entirely, replaced by a suffocating tension that seemed to permeate the alien landscape. Commander Alexei Volkov and Lieutenant Maya Chen sensed the change, fearing they had provoked a response from the Draxus that would surpass anything they had faced before. Their fears were realized when a massive coordinated attack was launched against New Hope, a burgeoning human settlement on the outskirts of their territory. The Draxus, using tactics unseen before, struck with devastating effectiveness. The settlement's defenses, designed to repel the kind of assaults they had previously encountered, were quickly overwhelmed. Buildings were razed, and the settlement was engulfed in chaos, with civilians and soldiers alike caught in the onslaught. The battle for New Hope was fierce and fraught with desperation. The humans fought valiantly, but the Draxus' sheer numbers and newfound tactical ingenuity turned the tide against them. Lieutenant Chen led a counteroffensive, employing guerrilla tactics and leveraging the settlement's terrain. Despite her efforts and those of her team, the outcome was inevitable. New Hope fell, its dreams of becoming a beacon of human resilience on Viridian 3 dashed against the unyielding might of the Draxus. The loss of New Hope was a devastating blow to the human spirit. The settlers who had dreamed of a new beginning on Viridian 3 were forced to retreat to the relative safety of the Pioneers, their hopes shattered. The cost in human lives was grievous, and the psychological impact on the survivors was profound. Commander Volkov, faced with the enormity of their loss, grappled with guilt and the weight of command. The decision to strike at the Draxus nesting ground, once a symbol of human defiance, now seemed a tragic miscalculation. In the aftermath, the crew of the Pioneers found themselves in a dire situation. The Draxus, far from being cowed by the attack on their nesting ground, had been incited to unprecedented aggression. It became clear that the humans had underestimated the Draxus' capacity for adaptation and retribution. The predators had learned, evolved, and now posed a greater threat than ever before. As the reality of their precarious position on Viridian 3 set in, despair began to take root among the crew and settlers. The dream of establishing a new home on the alien planet seemed more distant than ever, replaced by the grim task of survival. The darkness that descended upon them was not just the physical shadow of the jungle canopy, but a metaphorical descent into a situation with no clear path forward. Commander Volkov, in the face of mounting adversity, knew that surrendering to despair was not an option. He called upon his crew and the settlers, urging them to remember why they had journeyed to Viridian 3 in the first place. The spirit of exploration, the drive to overcome the impossible, and the resilience inherent to humanity were needed now more than ever. As they mourned their losses and fortified their defenses, the humans on Viridian 3 prepared for the next phase of their struggle. The descent into darkness was profound, but even in the deepest night, there remained a glimmer of hope. The battle for New Hope had ended, but the war for Viridian III was far from over. In the shadowed aftermath of New Hope's fall, the survivors regrouped under the battered but unbroken banner of humanity's resolve. The once vibrant optimism that had carried them across the stars to Viridian 3 was now tempered by loss and the harsh lessons of war. Commander Alexei Volkov, bearing the weight of command more heavily than ever, recognized the need for a change in strategy. The humans could not hope to match the Draxus in brute strength or sheer numbers. Their survival would depend on their adaptability and ingenuity. Dr. Lena Singh, still driven by her scientific curiosity despite the growing despair, made a groundbreaking discovery that offered a glimmer of hope. In her analysis of the Draxus attacks, she identified a pattern in their hunting behavior, influenced by the planet's unique electromagnetic fields. This insight led to the development of a weapon unlike any other in humanity's arsenal, a sonic emitter that could exploit this sensitivity, disorienting the Draxus long enough to provide a critical advantage. The creation of the sonic emitters was a testament to human perseverance. engineers and scientists worked alongside soldiers to produce a prototype, combining the theoretical foundations laid by Dr. Singh with the practical demands of the battlefield. This collaboration, born out of necessity, exemplified the best of what humanity could achieve when united against a common foe. With the emitters ready, Commander Volkov and Lieutenant Maya Chen planned a series of strategic strikes against the Draxus. These were not intended to be fatal blows, but were aimed at testing the effectiveness of their new weapon and gathering valuable intelligence on the enemy's reactions. The targets were carefully chosen for their strategic importance and the likelihood of encountering Draxus forces. The first operation utilizing the sonic emitters was a calculated risk. A small team, led by Lieutenant Chen, ventured into a known Draxus hunting ground. As the creatures emerged, drawn by the presence of their prey, the emitters were activated. The effect was immediate and profound. The Draxus, creatures of formidable power and terror, were reduced to disoriented beings, stumbling and unable to coordinate their attack. This initial success breathed new life into the human defenders. Word of the operation's outcome spread quickly, bolstering morale and reigniting a spark of hope. The victory was modest, but its implications were profound. Humanity now possessed a weapon that could level the playing field, offering a chance to reclaim the initiative. Emboldened by this success, Commander Volkov authorized further strikes, expanding their scope and ambition. Each operation served a dual purpose: to disrupt Draxus activities and to refine the use of the sonic emitters. The humans learned to adapt their tactics, striking swiftly and retreating before the Draxus could regroup. A guerrilla war waged in the shadow of alien jungles. The tide of the conflict began to turn. For the first time since their arrival on Viridian 3, the humans found themselves on the offensive, dictating the terms of engagement. The Draxus, for all their might, had been revealed to have vulnerabilities that could be exploited. The psychological impact of this shift was immeasurable. The hunters had tasted fear, and the hunted had learned to strike back. As the chapter closes, the balance of power on Viridian 3 has shifted subtly but unmistakably. The humans, once on the brink of despair, now harbored a cautious optimism. The road ahead remained fraught with danger, and the conflict with the Draxus was far from over. Yet, in this moment of respite, there was a sense of achievement, a belief that survival was possible, and perhaps in time, even victory. The story of humanity's resilience, written in the light of distant stars, was still being penned, each stroke a defiance of the dark. The discovery and successful deployment of the sonic emitters marked a turning point in humanity's struggle on Viridian 3. Energized by their newfound weapon, the crew of the USS Pioneers, alongside the settlers, began to envision a strategy not just for survival, but for victory. Commander Alexei Volkov, with Lieutenant Maya Chen and Dr. Lena Singh at his side, devised a bold plan to secure a future for humanity on this alien world. Their target was the Draxus stronghold, a formidable natural fortress deep in the heart of the jungle, believed to be the central hub of the Draxus's operations on the planet. The plan was multifaceted, requiring precise execution and unwavering courage. The first phase involved a series of feints and diversionary attacks across the planet's surface, utilizing the sonic emitters to keep the Draxus forces disoriented and spread thin. These tactics were designed to draw the predators away from their stronghold, creating an opening for a decisive strike. Meanwhile, a specialized team, handpicked by Chen for their skills and bravery, prepared for the most daring part of the operation. Equipped with the latest in sonic weaponry and stealth technology, they would infiltrate the Draxus stronghold, planting a network of high-yield explosives that, once detonated, would cripple the predator's ability to wage war. The night before the operation, the human encampment was a hive of activity, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence that had once reigned. Soldiers and settlers alike worked together, checking equipment, loading weapons, and sharing quiet words of encouragement. Despite the gravity of their task, there was a palpable sense of unity and determination. They were no longer disparate refugees fighting for survival. They were a community, a force united in purpose and resolve. As dawn broke over Viridian 3, the operation commenced. The diversionary attacks unfolded with surgical precision, drawing Draxus packs out from the stronghold. Across the jungle, the sound of sonic emitters filled the air, disorienting the predators and sowing chaos in their ranks. The planet, so often silent or filled with the sounds of nature, now echoed with the clamor of battle. Deep within the Draxus territory, Chen's team made their stealthy approach. Every step was fraught with danger, not just from the planet's apex predators, but from the treacherous terrain itself. Yet, undeterred, they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that the fate of humanity on Viridian 3 rested in their hands. Reaching the stronghold, they found it less defended than anticipated, the diversionary tactics having been more successful than even Volkov had dared hope. Planting the explosives, they made their retreat, just as the first signs of Draxus reinforcements began to arrive, drawn back by the urgent calls of their kin. The detonation was a monumental spectacle, a cascade of fire and destruction that tore through the heart of the Draxus stronghold. From miles away at the human encampment, the explosion lit the horizon, a beacon of hope and a symbol of potential victory. In the aftermath, the human forces regrouped, ready to defend against a counterattack that never came. The destruction of the stronghold had dealt a crippling blow to the Draxus, throwing their ranks into disarray and significantly reducing their threat to human operations on the planet. The battle for Viridian 3, as it would come to be known, was not the end of the conflict, but it marked a significant shift in its dynamics. Humanity had not only survived, it had proven itself capable of overcoming the apex predators of this world. The victory was hard won, and the cost was high, but for the first time since their arrival, the settlers of Viridian 3 dared to hope for a future where they could live free from the shadow of the Draxus. As the news of the operation's success spread, a sense of pride and accomplishment permeated the human settlement. They had faced the darkness of Viridian 3 and emerged victorious, a testament to their resilience, ingenuity, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. With the Draxus stronghold in ruins and their forces in disarray, the humans on Viridian 3 seized the momentum. Commander Alexei Volkov, recognizing the critical juncture at which they stood, ordered an immediate push to expand their territory and fortify their position on the planet. The victory had bought them precious time, but the war against the Draxus was far from over. Lieutenant Maya Chen, now hailed as a hero for her leadership in the assault on the stronghold, led reconnaissance missions deeper into Draxus territory. Their objective was twofold: to assess the extent of the damage inflicted on the Draxus and to identify any remaining threats. The missions revealed a landscape of devastation, with the remnants of Draxus packs scattered and leaderless, their once feared coordination and aggression significantly diminished. However, amidst the victory and expansion, a dark truth began to emerge. Dr. Lena Singh, delving into the biological impact of their sonic weaponry, discovered unforeseen consequences. The frequency that disoriented the Draxus also severely affected the planet's indigenous fauna, disrupting the ecological balance. This revelation cast a shadow over their triumph, underscoring the complexities of their presence on Viridian 3. Determined to find a solution that would secure their future on the planet without causing further harm, Commander Volkov convened a council of his top advisors and scientists. The discussions were intense, with debates on the morality of their actions and the sustainability of their continued use of sonic weapons. In the end, a decision was made to develop a new strategy that would minimize ecological impact while ensuring the safety and security of the human settlers. The next phase of their plan involved a daring expedition into what was dubbed the Heart of Darkness, a vast, unexplored region of Viridian 3 believed to be the original habitat of the Draxus. The expedition aimed to uncover any secrets the planet held about the Draxus and to find a way to coexist with the native species without further conflict. Equipped with the latest technology and armed with a determination to find a lasting peace, the expedition set out. Led by Lieutenant Chen, the team ventured into the dense jungle, a world teeming with life yet untouched by the war. The deeper they went, the more they realized the true beauty of Viridian 3, a stark contrast to the battlegrounds they had come to know. In the heart of the jungle, they made a discovery that would change the course of their settlement on Viridian 3. Hidden within a secluded valley, they found evidence of an ancient Draxus civilization, a society that had once thrived in harmony with the planet's ecosystem. The ruins held artifacts and inscriptions that told a story of a species not so different from humanity, with aspirations, art, and a deep connection to their world. This revelation brought a new understanding of the Draxus and their aggression. The humans had encroached on their territory, threatening their existence, sparking the conflict. With this knowledge, Commander Volkov and his council were faced with a moral dilemma and the challenge of redefining their relationship with both the Draxus and Viridian 3. The expedition returned with more than just data and artifacts. They brought back a message of hope and a vision for a future where humans and Draxus could coexist. The path forward was fraught with uncertainty, but for the first time, there was a tangible sense of possibility, a chance not just for survival, but for harmony. As the settlers began the work of rebuilding, guided by the lessons learned in the heart of darkness, they did so with a newfound respect for Viridian Threed and all its inhabitants. The war had been a journey not just through space, but through the understanding of what it means to share a world. The heart of darkness had revealed not a place of fear, but a mirror reflecting the shared aspirations and vulnerabilities of two very different, yet intrinsically connected forms of life. The revelations uncovered in the heart of the alien jungle ignited a paradigm shift in the human settlement on Viridian 3. Commander Alexei Volkov, with the unanimous support of his council, initiated a groundbreaking project dubbed Harmony Initiative. The objective was clear: to repair the ecological damage inflicted during the conflict and to establish a foundation for peaceful coexistence with the Draxus and the planet's native ecosystem. Dr. Lena Singh led the scientific efforts, developing a series of environmental restoration protocols. These included the deployment of bioengineered flora that could detoxify the soil and air affected by the remnants of warfare, and the creation of conservation zones where the planet's unique wildlife could thrive, free from human interference. The sonic technology, once a weapon of war, was repurposed to aid in ecological balance, calibrated to frequencies that promoted plant growth and animal well-being. Lieutenant Maya Chen, who had once led the charge against the Draxus, now spearheaded diplomatic overtures towards the scattered Draxus packs. Using a combination of technology and the insights gained from the ancient ruins, the humans managed to communicate their intentions to the Draxus. The process was painstaking, fraught with misunderstandings and setbacks, but slowly, a fragile trust began to form. The Draxus, recognizing the humans' efforts to restore the planet and respect their way of life, gradually ceased their hostilities. The Harmony Initiative became a beacon of hope, not just for the inhabitants of Viridian 3, but as a message to the stars. The story of the humans' journey from conquerors to caretakers, from warriors to peacemakers, resonated across human space. It served as a profound lesson in humility and the importance of understanding and respecting the delicate balance of life on any world. On the anniversary of the battle for Viridian 3, a ceremony was held at the site of the former Draxus stronghold, now a flourishing garden symbolizing the new relationship between humans and Draxus. Commander Volkov addressed the assembled crowd, his words broadcast to every corner of the planet and beyond. "Today, we stand not as victors, but as partners," Volkov declared, his gaze sweeping over the diverse assembly of humans and Draxus. "We have learned that true strength lies not in dominion, but in harmony. Our future on Viridian 3 is not guaranteed. It is a daily commitment to understanding, respect, and the belief that together we can face any challenge this world may bring." As the sun set on Viridian the 3rd, casting long shadows over the garden, the air was filled with the sounds of a planet reborn. The laughter of children mingled with the alien calls of the jungle, a symphony of life that transcended the boundaries of species and origin. The conflict with the Draxus, once a struggle for survival, had become the catalyst for a profound transformation. Humanity had arrived on Viridian 3 as apex predators, seeking a new world to conquer. But they had found something far more valuable: the wisdom to live in harmony with a world not their own, and the understanding that being human meant more than just survival. It meant being a part of the intricate web of life that connected every living being. As the stars twinkled above, casting their ancient light upon the planet, Viridian 3 slept peacefully, a world forever changed by the touch of humanity. The darkness that had once threatened to engulf them had been dispelled, giving way to a new dawn.